Well, with that, I will officially call to order our regular meeting. I would first, with the board's pleasure, I would like to introduce our new clerk, Lisa Richardson. Thank you for being here, Lisa. We're so glad you're here. We want to thank you for your service ahead of time, because this is a hard job that you're going to do. I would also like to recognize Jessica Staten, who's not with us tonight, but she was the lady that performed this role for many months in interim before we got a true county clerk. So I want to thank Jessica, and also Whitney Summy, who was before Jessica, who left us to start raising her family. So thanks to those ladies for their service. I also want to recognize Alex Litz. I'm not going to try your whole name, sorry. This is our director of compliance. I'm going to say it together. This is our compliance officer. She's a lawyer by trade. She has 3 licenses, Florida, Georgia, and Tennessee. She actually is in the place of David Gottlieb, who was considered our county attorney. And later in our meeting, we're going to talk about how we are retaining an outside firm. So thank you for being here, Alex. So I will turn it back over to Lisa to establish a quorum, please.
Commissioner Blakemore.
Present.
Commissioner Askew.
Here.
Chairwoman Teams.
Here.
Commissioner Hart.
Here.
Commissioner Wilson.
Present.
Thank you very much. A quorum has been established. Now we move to approving the agenda. Is there any discussion about the current agenda for tonight?
I have nothing to add.
No.
No? All right, so may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Yes, ma'am.
Moved by Commissioner Hart, and do I have a second?
Second.
And moved by Commissioner Askew. The motion passes, so the agenda is as represented. Thank you. You all got that ahead of time, so I hope that it was okay.
You got to vote.
I'm sorry?
Vote.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I always forget the minute to vote, so I need to ask for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. It was unanimous, so the motion passes to approve the agenda as it reads. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we have to approve the minutes from the regular meeting of January 9th. You all got these minutes ahead of time also. Is there any discussion from the January 9th minutes?
No, ma'am.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
I'll take Commissioner Wilson's motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Hart seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, the motion passes to approve the minutes from the January 9th meeting. Now we have to approve the minutes for the special call meeting that was held on January 23rd, 2025 at 3 p.m. at 101 South Duke Street in Lafayette. That is considered the main office of the government. Is there any discussion with those minutes from that special meeting?
No.
Do I have a motion to approve those special meeting
Motion
minutes?
to approve.
Mr. Blakemore, or do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Wilson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, hearing none, the motion passes to approve the minutes from the special meeting held on January 23rd. Thank you all very much. Then we can move on to am I doing the ceremony now or the public?
Public hearing.
Public hearing.
What about the ceremony?
You're-
Oh, we're doing public, sorry, I apologize, thank you. So we're moving on to public hearing. There are 5, I think, today. Okay.
Yes, 5.
Yes, all right. So we will, thank you. So we will start with Miss Susan Carroll. Is there anyone here, is Miss Carroll here that would like to speak? Hi.
Hi.
Please come up. You're right here, hon.
Podium.
Yes. So we'll ask you to state your name and what your address is, and then you can tell us why you're here. What else? Okay, let me say what your request is first, and then you can, I'll say what your request is, and then you can announce yourself. Thank you. Hold on 1 second. You are here to request a variance for less than 5 acres in an A1 agriculture zone for property located at 1967 Kemp Road, Lafayette, Georgia, 30728. Tax map and parcel number 0-508-010. So we would like to hear from you now. Say your name and is that your address on Kemp Road?
It is. I live in Cedar Bluff, Alabama now, but that's the property I own here.
And your full name?
Susan Gail Carroll.
Thank you.
Yes. My husband passed away back in June, and we had decided long ago that our daughters, we wanted to give them 5 acres apiece because we had 10 acres at the time. Well, we split it off for one daughter, and we were going to split it for the other daughter, but she passed away as well. So she has 2 daughters, and I'd like to leave her 2 daughters her part of what we had, the 5 acres. And the only way I can do it is if you give me a variance to divide that 2 acres.
All right, well, thank you very much. Later in our
No,
meeting, we will have an open discussion with the board about that.
Is there any questions for me? Because, this is all new to me. I'm one of these people that don't know what's going on.
You're doing fine. You're doing
But
absolutely fine.
I wanted to leave my granddaughters something that would have been their mother's.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm here.
They might have questions later on in our meeting when we come back to our comments on these requests, so you're getting your seat taken. Thank you very much, Ms. Carroll.
Now you're gonna have to come and get me.
All right, let's come to order now. All right, next we have Justin Keener, who requests a variance for less than 5 acres in an A1 agriculture zone for property located at 219 Furnace Creek Road, Lafayette, Georgia, 30728. Tax map and parcel number 0-589-006D. Is Mr. Keener here? Nope. So do I just move on from that?
Asked if anybody wants to
Anybody
speak
wants
in
to speak
opposition
against
or.
Is there
approval.
anyone here that would like to speak on it? Okay, thank you. Tell us who you are.
Thank you so much. First of all, welcome, Chairwoman Teams. We are so happy that you are here.
Thank you.
My name is Melissa Halsey, and to save everybody time, effort, I'm going to speak, if you don't mind, on all 5 of these as opposed to one at a time. Is that acceptable?
I don't believe that's in order. Actually, you probably can do that in the public comments. Are you opposed to all these or just the general discussion?
Well, then I will
about-
address Justin Keener's.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So in regards to Justin Keener's, the comprehensive plan was adopted by this board, I believe, in 2022, and it provides a roadmap for the future of the county. Deviating from the comprehensive plan can set a precedent for unwanted growth. And I am here tonight to ask the board to vote in line with the comprehensive plan. Page number 108 of that plan just in part reads, the future development map can be consulted to advise officials in appropriate zoning decisions that are consistent with the character of the area as identified by the public. Mr. Keener's request does not go in line with the comprehensive plan. Would it be appropriate for me then to come forward and just address the others as they, or?
Yeah, that's what we'll have to do it, if that's what your wish
Okay.
is, yes.
So Mr. Keener's is not in line with the comprehensive plan. However, is John here? Is John Persley?
Yes, he's
John
done it,
Persley.
yes.
I do not know, is this spot zoning on this particular
Well,
one?
let me ask you, let me say one thing. This is all gonna come up later, and so I don't mind you addressing it, but we can't have a discussion at this point. We can hear what you have to say, and then
Okay,
we'll.
so what I have to say is if this is spot zoning.
Okay.
That would, of course, set a precedent for this unwanted growth in the future. However, there would be a remedy if this board does have the right to amend the comprehensive plan. And if this board were to feel that, for example, Mr. Keener's request was in line with what this board felt like the comprehensive plan wanted it to be, then this board could amend the comprehensive plan to perhaps include Mr. Keener in a rural residential or a county suburban zoning, which would then be allowed for that. So it would allow Mr. Keener to get the zoning he wanted, but it would protect the overall comprehensive plan, which would then protect our agriculture land going forward, which is the whole point of me standing here, is that we need to protect our A1, and I would do anything in line with protecting agriculture in Walker County.
Okay, thank you
Does that
very
make
much.
sense?
Yes, and we're going to talk about the different zoning types later on, so thank you.
Great, thank you.
Appreciate that. All right, Joseph Bales is next, and he requests a variance for property located at 1178 Camp Road, Chickamauga, Georgia, 30707. Tax map and parcel number 0-293-004. And I assume you are Mr. Bales.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Thank you.
I think I'm here like most of the other residents that came from the planning and zoning meeting wanting a variance. My property is located on Camp Road. I have 7.3 acres that I would like to divide in half. And I understand it's agricultural, so I'm asking for a variance on that. But the half, once we split it in half, one half of the parcel is pretty much unusable all the way in the back. The only part that you could use that would affect an agricultural area is right up at the road. Everything else is a wet flood zone. Already had that area, a soil map done on it, and it can support a septic system. The rest of the property is pretty much, like I said, unusable. So we do, grow it for hay and cut it for hay. And the reason I would like to do that is because I purchased the property. There's a residence on it already, which I renovated. It was in severely bad condition from the previous person that owned it, and there was a whole bunch of junk on the property. So I've tried my best to clean it up and improve the property overall. And I leased that, did a lease-to-own agreement with my brother, so him and my 3 nephews could have a stable home. And now I have a bunch of money in a property that at the time I didn't know was A1, and now I can't put another residence on it. So that's why I'm asking for variance.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Again, we'll talk about this as a board
Sure.
a little bit later.
Sure.
So
Thank you.
Please stay around.
I will.
If you can, thank you. And then we have Amber Dottie. Please correct me if I'm saying that name.
People that want to speak against
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
We have quite a few.
Oh, I apologize. Yes, I apologize about that. Thank you very much. So anyone that would like to speak either for or in opposing of Mr. Bales, please come forward and state your name and where you live, please.
I'm Philip Warren. I live at 1300 Camp Road. I'm here also representing Miss Brooks from 1262.
Miss who?
Brooks
Brooks,
from
okay, thank you.
1262 Camp Road.
Thank you.
Mr. Bell's not just asking for and split it to get another dwelling. He has 2 dwellings on the 7.3 acres already, which is out of compliance already, but he bought it that way, so that's the only reason he got it. Giving him that would even put it further out of compliance. As we discussed in the last meeting, there've been a lot of mishaps, to say. They've been dog mileage where they don't keep their dogs on the leashes already. People getting shot. Police getting called to the residents continually, all the way up just till last month. So it's not calmed down, it just keeps going. I have the police records and the stuff. Mr. Bell states that he done it just to keep his family close together. Mr. Bell owns 20 acres on Camp Road that is registered as R2. So he has plenty of place to put his family together on his property that he already has. There's no reason for him to ask for a variance on property that's A1 when he has R2. Well, it's 2. I also have that here so that you can see where his property is on Camp Road. I have the police reports. I'm gonna go ahead and give all that to you. That way y'all can have it to look at. They are shooting guns over there and it's flat. The neighbor, Miss Brooks, is scared to death because there's no backstops. And when you are there with no backstop, it's really scary. You have, I'm not gonna go into a lot of it that I went through in the last meeting. I'm sure that y'all have the notes from the last meeting. At least I hope you do.
We do.
All right, so there's no really reason to go into all that, but With that being said, we ask that you do not grant the variance. Thank y'all
Thank
for
you for
taking the
coming
time to
tonight.
listen.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Sure. Hold on one second. There was somebody behind you. Hello, your name and where you live, please?
I'm Amanda Birch. I live at 1156 Camp Road, which is next to the property that, for Mr. Bales. We've had a lot of problems over the years with traffic because there is a blind hill directly in front of my property. So we have a hard time pulling out because people go flying down that hill as it is. The school bus has been hit multiple times, so adding another residence with more people in there is just going to continue to add to the risk and the problem. We've had a lot of problems because there is 2 dwellings on the property. The back dwelling, the front dwelling, excuse me, the front dwelling, his brother does live in, and he's been working really hard to try to, make sure that the property's cleaned up and all that, but they have renters that live behind them. And I am constantly having problems with garbage blowing up into my pasture from the residents behind them. They've been burning garbage constantly. So adding another dwelling onto that property, which I'm assuming Mr. Bales is wanting to use it as a rental, is just gonna potentially add more problems to the situation on top of it from what we were already having to deal with. And all of us around there, we all have livestock, we all have rural farms, we garden. So, adding more houses into that area is just gonna potentially lead to more problems, against the agriculture of the area. So, also, I did want to address too that Mr. Bales is saying that there is a front area where he's already had it perk tested to be able to put a dwelling on the house. Mr. Hale is here. He's having a hard time hearing, so I told him I'd speak on it for him. But he's been cutting that property for hay for decades, and in years past, on a normal year, that property is really wet in the spring. I find it very unlikely that it would be able to perk test because they've had tractors get stuck in there, and the utilities departments have had trucks getting stuck in there for both gas and electric because there's power lines that run across that area. So the fact that we've had a drought the last couple of years may have been a factor into why it was able to perk this year. But we've lived there since 2016, and I've seen it multiple years be just a muddy swamp in that area. So.
Well, we appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? There's another person behind you, but can we, okay, he's already up, so. Hi.
My name is Mike Sims. I live at 1112 Camp Road. Part of my property adjoins the property that we're speaking about. And I just wanted to address our opposition to further development in the area. I'd like to preserve the agricultural ruralness of the area. And I won't mention names, but we've had trouble with other people that own the property trying to develop it into a trailer court, and we don't want that, or subdivision or anything built in there. And, I mean, it may not be his intentions, but like I say, we've been burnt. So the residents, the rental property behind is an eyesore. We don't need any more eyesores in there to value our property. And like I say, I just wanted to give our opinion, our opposition to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Mr. Pope? Thank you for waiting.
I got a question, though. Do I get a chance to speak here and also under public comments later?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll speak here.
Okay.
Okay.
If it's about this particular piece of property.
Well, yeah, okay.
All right, go ahead.
In general, it's about all of them, I guess. They all got the same principle.
Well, we are speaking about just Mr. Bell's property right now. But that's okay if you have a comment about them all. I understand what you're saying.
Okay. My comment is I'd like to protect the farmers in this case. this zoning was set up so we could be an agriculture county. And it has, my understanding, agriculture is the biggest industry in Walker County. And if you keep breaking these things up like this, where is going to be the stopping point? Until we have no agriculture land at all left. So I would like to just emphasize, hey, we do feel sorry for these people that wants to divide their property up, but also I feel sorry for farmers when they get so congested with people they can't really farm right, because there's problems like fertilizer getting over on the in the residential area from the farmers. There's odors, chicken litter odors, and people will start complaining. So I'm just in favor of keeping agricultural land agriculture.
Thank you for your comments.
Okay.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this particular matter? It could be 4, absolutely. Mhm.
Hi, my name is Emily Hale. I live at 1123. We're on the other side of the road, directly across from the property. Part of ours is we have 23 acres. We are a cattle farm. And some of the same things that Ms. Birch was saying, we have issues with trash coming across the road from the property. My family, my father-in-law and my husband are the ones that have been cutting hay on the property for decades, as she said, and it is true, a lot of that back area, it floods. We have had tractors and things get stuck over there. But that property, my children go to school with those children and things, and some of the things that have happened at that property, we have found out the police reports that you have and things like that makes a lot of people very uneasy trying to raise your family over there. But we are very worried about the agriculture aspect of that area. That's probably our biggest thing.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Is there anyone that wants to speak for or opposed? Okay, thank you for those comments. We appreciate the interaction with the public all the time. This is what we're here for. So the next one is for Amber Doty. Did I say that right? Is it Doty or? Yes. Okay, thank you. Amber Doty requests a conditional use variance to divide off less than 5 acres in a 1 agriculture zone for property located at 368 McIntyre Road in Rock Spring, Georgia 30739, tax map and parcel 0-356-002. So please state your name.
My name is Robert Doty. I'm Amber's husband. I own the property. She's homesick with one of our babies right now, so she couldn't make it. So we're just trying to split about 2.5 acres off of our land for my brother-in-law and his wife to build a house on. He is very instrumental in our kids' lives, and he's just looking to build a house. He's newly married, and we'd love to have him on there. When we bought the property, it was like 9.56 acres, so we cannot split it at 5 acres, or we would just do that and forego all of this. But unfortunately, that's where we're at. But there's a subdivision right next to us, pretty much, and we're not trying to build a bunch of houses. We're just trying to let him build a house there, and he can help us take care of the property. And we have talked about some goats or a few cattle or whatever like that, and doing a little bit of agriculture on it. But me working and raising young kids and all that, it's just hard to find the time. So he would also be there to help me out when we do that. So
I have a couple questions.
yes, ma'am.
That subdivision that's is it right beside you, that's Timber Ridge?
Yes, ma'am.
I noticed it was conditional use, so forgive me, I'm learning these terms.
Me too.
I wondered why you didn't, or maybe you did consider a rezone instead of a conditional use.
Well, we know, there's, it's kind of right on the line, like a lot of homes and a neighborhood, and then agricultural starts like a little bit down the street, so it's kind of like in a no man's land. So we were just honestly, my wife called down to the planning and zoning office, and they said this would probably be what we needed to do. So and we don't have any experience in any of this, so it's kind of just going on what the information that she got from the planning and zoning office.
Okay, and then you went to the Planning and Zoning Commission, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, we did a couple weeks ago.
Okay. All right, well, thank you for that. Does, you guys have any questions? Okay, the commission will talk about it later, so please hang around.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak for or in opposition of Mr. Doty's variance request? Okay. The last one is Trevor Taylor, who requests a rezone from A1 agriculture to R2 residential for property located at 222 Allgood Road, Flintstone, Georgia 30725. Tax map and parcel number 0-04-067A. Will you state your name?
Yes. I'm Trevor Taylor.
Okay, thank you.
I live at 118 Grant Drive, which is right around the corner from this property.
Okay.
At the beginning of last year, this house burnt down, and the current owner did not have the funds to demolish and remove it, and it sat and became a nuisance to the neighborhood. So she reached out, and then I purchased it in August of last year. Since then, I've demolished the house. I removed all the trash off the property. It's completely cleared, seeded, and strawed, and set in order now. So my request is to change it from A1 to R2. It's just under 1.5 acres already. The neighborhood in character is residential. There's not much agriculture going on there at all. And right across the street and down all of John Thompson is zoned R2. And on the same side as this property, there's many that have already been rezoned for residential. So my request is, I think, strictly.
Well, thank you for being here tonight.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak for or opposed to this property variance request? All right, thank you all very much. Later in our meeting, we will come back to these items and discuss them openly as a board. At this time, I will, is there no other further items to discuss in the public hearing? Then that concludes our public hearing, and I am officially closing this period of our meeting. Were you going to say something? Okay. So now we move on to a fun thing to do, a ceremonial proclamation. This month is the Spay and Neuter month, and it's very apropos because we are trying very desperately to support our animal population and our animal control officers and our animal shelter folks. So I applaud their efforts, and there is more information to come about our new staff at the shelter. We have great things going on there, and from the support of my office to those offices, you will see a great improvement in the very near future. So I appreciate the patience that the community is showing with regards to the development that we're making in these new areas, or the new development in the areas of the animal shelter and the animal control. So with that, let me find my proclamation, which I so readily had available, and thank you. And I shall read this. Proclamation by the Walker County Board of Commissioners, Spay Neuter Awareness Month. Whereas the Walker County Animal Shelter provides humane care for animals that are lost, abandoned, or unwanted. And whereas 74% of the 1,227 dogs and 93% of the 884 cats taken in by the shelter in 2024 were surrendered by their owners, creating a crisis for our shelter. And whereas spaying and neutering domestic animals is the most humane solution to combat the overpopulation of unwanted dogs and cats in our community. And whereas the shelter provided spayed and neutering 646 dogs and 512 cats last year in an effort to participate in the solution. And whereas spaying and neutering pets also promotes the health of companion animals by reducing the risk of future medical problems and expenses, including testicular cancer, uterine infections, and ovarian and breast cancers. And whereas spayed and neutered pets are often more relaxed than their impacted than their intact counterparts, bite less, and are less inclined to run away in search of a mate. Therefore, I, Angela Teams, on behalf of the Walker County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim February 2025 as Spay Neuter Awareness Month in Walker County, and encourage our residents to learn about the options available in our community to spay and neuter their pets. So signed this day, the 6th of February, 2025. Chairwoman Angela Teams. I will add that we are, with the board's pleasure, if I may add something else. Sorry, you guys didn't know I was going to say this. The county is initiating a voucher program where the shelter will give out a voucher to about 40 people a month for free spaying and free neutering. We have 6 veterinarian clinics that have agreed to participate in this program, and that will hopefully begin in March. We are currently writing the agreement between the county and the vets, and so be watching for more information about that. That again is our hope to help find a solution for our problem, and we want to help our citizens. And we do get donations, and that donation money will go to these free programs. So be watching for that. Thank you, gentlemen, for letting me add that.
And you said 40 per month?
That's what we're going to start with until we run out of money. And that hopefully will start in March. More to come about that. All right, where are we? Let's see. Public comment. So we will move now to open the podium to public comment. So who would like to come first? Mr. Pope? Yes. Please come forward. Again, you need to state your name for us, for the record.
Okay, I'm Jim Pope. Now, Angie, you're pretty new here on this job.
Yes, sir.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
But I got some questions for you.
Absolutely. Fire away.
Now, when Shannon left office, was a county budget down to zero?
County budget.
I'm in county debt.
Okay, debt. No, sir, it was not. The only thing that was zeroed out was the leftover debt from his prior administration. I think it was called the hospital debt, is what we all know it as. That was zeroed out, but the county is not out of debt. Now, we're not necessarily behind in our payments or anything like that, but we constantly, we create debt just having a business. So
What is a county debt?
it fluctuates every day.
Well, in general.
In general. That's a pretty wide question. I've been watching it ever since I stepped on the floor on January 2nd. I've been watching the account, the general account. The general fund fluctuates every day. We have deposits going in. We make payments to the vendors and contractors and payroll. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't start our time. That's okay. Let's have a conversation. It's fine. So it will go from $9 million to $25 million and go back down to $2 million and back to 30. It really does fluctuate a lot.
Well, I thought the paper and the
I'm
general consensus was down debt-free.
Yes, that was not exactly the right terminology to use because the county can never be debt-free. No business is ever debt-free. So we have constantly payroll expense, we have constant contractor expense, we have vehicle expense, equipment expense. So that's the debt that I'm talking about.
So it can never reach zero then?
I would turn to my board for help with this. What do you guys are business people.
We know it can't.
I mean, we have expenses every month that we pay every month.
But we're not in debt.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't owe millions of dollars on things, so I think that's what the question is.
Well, something like Shannon was saying, the debt when he inherited this in 2016, it was, 70 million or something like that.
That number really has never been determined truly. It was such a mess, to his credit, it was a mess when he inherited it, absolutely.
Well, that's what I'm trying to determine, just how you feel what the debt is now, so it could fluctuate up and down.
I will say that we are not in a critical debt by no means. We don't owe credit cards, we don't owe contractors. In fact, I've spent the last month covering a few bills that were left over that needed to be paid from years ago, and I covered those. So we're in good shape, yes.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Do you
Now,
think it'd be a good idea to get maybe our CFO to get a report on that, that way he can speak?
Yeah, so
towards it?
it's actually going to come up later, but I will go ahead and speak to that. So my plan is to, on a quarterly basis, to share with the public what our finances are. So I wanted to get a quarter under my belt, so to speak, before I said it, because it does fluctuate quite a bit every month, every week. And so, but I haven't even talked to this board about how that looks yet. So I felt like a quarter basis would be appropriate.
well, don't you have an annual audit?
Yes, we do, and it just finished. Yes, they just left us last week, yes.
Did the annual audit tell you?
We
what-
haven't gotten it back yet. It'll take about a month to get it back from them.
Okay, so
And then I can
maybe
share
next
that.
month, you can give me
Yeah,
that
and
figure.
if I don't have it by
What-
then, I'll explain why I don't have it. But yeah, we wait on the auditor to give that back to us. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting for all of us to read, yes.
Okay, so I think you're
you.
disagreeing with what the paper said. Maybe it kind of led us to believe was debt-free.
It's a turn on a phrase.
Okay. We will talk with you next month.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Okay, anyone else? Ms. Halsey? And I'll start the time this time, I'm sorry, because I'll get chatty and I'll take up our time, so it's more about me controlling myself
No
and
worries.
you guys.
Thank you, Melissa
you.
Halsey. And I guess continuing on what Mr. Pope said, just talking about finances. So my first question this evening is, on the agenda tonight, we have 9 items, and it's about $580,000 roughly in 2020 SPLOST request.
Yes.
On the 2022 audit and the 2023 audit, the county was found in, what is the appropriate word? In violation, I guess. Yes, in violation of taking SPLOST fund and putting it into the general fund. It reads on the 2023 audit, and also reads on the 2022 audit, that the county acknowledged this and that the county intended to reimburse the SPLOST fund from the general fund to balance it all out. So my question this evening is, has that been done? Do we have for sure a reconciled SPLOST fund where it has been completely reimbursed from the general fund?
Okay, that's a very apropos question as well. Just this week, last week and this week.
Wait, can I, because I don't want to use all my time.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, I will stop it. Thank you for saying that.
Thank you.
Just this week and last week, I have talked to our CFO on several occasions about doing an audit ourselves, an internal audit, if you will. Because I have also found that some of our SPLOST dollars don't actually total right in the documentation that I'm finding as well. So I'm anxious to get the 2024 audit to see if any of that has gotten fixed. But in the meantime, I am doing my own internal audit with our finance department, yes. So I do believe, I don't know if we're able to move money around like that, I don't know. But the point is, if we need to move money back into a SPLOST account, then that's what we need to do. And if I may take another minute, I would like to reiterate about what SPLOST is to folks. So it's a little history lesson, if you don't mind. So in 2020, we all voted, those of us that were here, voted, whether you voted yay or nay on the SPLOST fund, but it passed. And that meant that we got, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, that we got, that meant the state would start collecting 1 cent off of everything that was sold or purchased, however you're going to look at it, in this county. Then the state would give us, the county, back a sum of money every month. And every city in the county also gets a piece of that as well. So it's not just the county, but every city. So from that money is where we then categorize, per the state law, state statute about SPLOST, where we spend the money. And I have it. It's a big list. Hang on, it doesn't matter. I want you to see it. Where is it? I was so organized when I got here, but then I became unorganized. It doesn't matter. It's about a legal-sized long list, and it's very tiny writing. And it is on our website. That's where I discovered that there were some discrepancies when I tried to balance what Greg, our finance officer, was telling me and what I was looking on the website. So the categories are very wide in that website list, but then beyond that, it breaks down to every department. So every department has a fund that it's responsible for spending. So for example, the county vehicle fund, we, as a county, said we were gonna spend $700,000 in 5 years on replacement vehicles for the county, this is what we're talking about tonight, later in the meeting. So $700,000 was earmarked for new vehicles. So we've spent $58,000 in 4 years of the 700. So if we don't spend the $642,000 we have left, then we have to give it back to the state. Not only do we give that back, but we have to give the $58,000 back too. So the state wants the states to spend what they say they're going to spend. We designated this much money, they gave it to us, we got to spend it. So I'm not going to rant on about that, but I wanted to do a little history lesson about that because it was good timing. So
No
go
worries.
ahead. So
Yeah,
go ahead.
Ready, okay. So I guess my question is, if it's not been reconciled and we're waiting for that 2024 audit to come back to really kind of reconcile that, would it be prudent to wait and vote on these until we have that reconciliation? Because what we may actually be doing, if this is not reconciled, is actually borrowing from the general fund to pay these if it's not sitting in the SPLOST account. So, I mean, I'm getting kind of into the weeds, but just want everybody to be aware that we may be voting on spending SPLOST funding that may not be actually allocated in that or sitting in that SPLOST account right now if this has not been reconciled. Okay, number one. Number two, thank you so much for saying that you will give quarterly reports. Thank you.
Yes.
And in addition to that, I would like to, and I think what Mr. Pope was asking is there long-term debt?
Right, there is not.
Okay, that I think that's what he was getting after.
Thank you.
Yeah, but, I think in addition to, as he said, kind of wanting to know where we are in quarterly reports, what do we have as far as a rainy day fund, or do we have a rainy day fund? Where is that invested? And I think that perhaps would like to respectfully request when the new CFO comes in, if she, is it he or she? If she would be willing to do a public town hall meeting and really have, concerned citizens be able to ask more detailed questions about software and reporting and things like that, and then perhaps to work together to develop what maybe just a monthly dashboard, maybe not a full quarterly report, but just a dashboard like a cash flow analysis or something. And I would be more than happy to work with my new district representative, may I address Chairman Wilson?
You may, yes.
Okay. If you would like to sit kind of offline and not take up everybody's time, and I can give you what I found other counties are doing for this.
That would be welcome, I think.
And maybe you could then suggest to the board.
Yes.
So, okay, and I think, and then just closure on what I couldn't speak about earlier, on the zoning, Ms. Carroll's request, yes, is in line with planning and zoning from what I could found on the comprehensive plan. Mr. Keener's is not, Mr. Bales is not, Ms. Doty, it looks like that, yes, is in line, and Mr. Taylor, I think, is questionable, and I think Mr. Pursley could answer that better.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Can I ask
you.
one question?
Yeah.
Do you have that value of the 22 and the 23 that was you had that value?
No, it doesn't,
Sorry,
The
that was,
value that they said,
that
Oh,
was
it's the
never,
whole, no, it's the whole thing.
they're saying we've already 700,000?
No, I said that, no.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. She said it was reported in the audit. And I didn't know if you had that number.
the audit does not report what that number is.
Okay.
The audit simply reads that the county has recorded amounts due to the SPLOST fund and intends to make timely reimbursements from the general fund, but it does not give the public an actual
Right.
figure.
That's the question.
Because
So
if
mine,
it's 10,000, then that 10,000 is not,
So
we're
the-
not
It was a
using that whole
small amount.
700,000.
Right.
That's what I was saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, because when they gave her the accounts.
I'm sorry, what y'all,
Brian just mentioned that I think when they did give a report, last year's report, because we haven't got this year, but it was a smaller amount. It wasn't a huge amount because it was considered kind of, they caught, and of course, everything's significant, but I think any of you that were here, it was treated like it was insignificant, that they see it
oh, okay. I
kind of
got you.
often, if my memory serves me
More
well.
of a cautionary,
Is that, Brian, is
That's
that?
all I
what-
remember, yes.
And we could be very wrong, but I believe that's kind of the way it was explained, but yes, ma'am.
Normally, an audit would not call it to be a violation unless it is greater than 5%. And that's just general accounting standards. That could be wrong. I mean, every auditor is different. That's just kind of.
Right.
Thank you.
So when you're talking about millions and millions of dollars, 5% of that.
Yeah.
So that may be why they didn't put the number down, I don't know. All right, thank y'all. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Mr. Pittman? Oh, Mr. Yance.
Ned Yates.
Sorry, Yates.
Doesn't matter. My question is, I understand, Ms. Teams, you spoke to the leadership committee of the Chamber of Commerce and said we were broke 2 weeks into your term. Just, well, I'm saying what I heard from a couple of attendees. Now you're saying we're not. I just questioned that we're going to give a voucher to 40 vouchers to pay for castrating or spaying dogs and cats. If we're broke, where's the money coming from? Splosh Fund? Hinkle Fire Department's been there a number of years. It's never been occupied. It's an empty shell of a building. Why? If we've got the money in Splosh, why hadn't it been spent? Now, that's not your responsibility. That's Mr. Whitfield's responsibility. But I'm saying it needs to be done. We've got the Splosh money. Spend the dadgum money that you said for 8 years ago, I think, that was supposed to have been done. It's not been done. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll answer. If you want to wait just a second.
No, I don't need to wait.
Well, I really want to answer. So,
Answer anyway.
Okay.
Also,
Well, I will.
I'll say this. A quarterly report would be nice. I would prefer a monthly report. CFO, give everybody, have town hall meetings, and tell us what the status of our money is. What's in our checking? What's in our bonds? What have we got? We're not told that. It's very, very vague. It seems to be smoke and mirrors, former administration. I want to see it changed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. That was a lot, Ned. So let me, okay, Hinkle first. We'll do Hinkle. I finally found my form, my paper. It is, we had $300,000 in the splashed account that was earmarked for them. We spent $10,000, so you've got a good point there. We need to figure out what we're going to do with it. So good point. You asked about the dogs and cats. So I don't know if you agree or not that we have a problem with overpopulation, but it is our opinion that we do, and I feel like as a county we have some responsibility to help educate and help control that. Plus, we spend a lot of money at our shelter when we have overpopulation, and that is our tax dollars, and that's not good, that's not wise spending either. So to answer your question where the money comes from, there is a donation fund that we can't use for general stuff in the county, I mean in the shelter. There's a specific law that says, legal regulations that say what we can use that donation money from. It's not county funds. It's literally somebody saying, here's $10, do what you need to. So we can do feed, we can do vets, and we can do spay and neutering with vets. So we have $65,000 in that fund right now, and that's what I meant when I said when we run out, we run out. So, yeah. I think there was another question. I honestly don't remember what it was, so I apologize. Oh, the monthly reports. So, yeah, I'm going to talk to our new CFO. She's brand new today, so we'll try to formulate some kind of communication for the public to know what we've got. So, does the commissioners have any questions or comments about that? All those topics that I just blurted out there.
So, you mentioned the spay and neuter program. So the money that's there now will pay the veterinarians for the vouchers?
Yeah, we're not using any other money besides that money.
Okay,
That's right.
very good.
Yeah.
And that's all money that's
Yes, sir, yes. Yeah.
The other question is, I don't know what cost of spay or neutering is, but would it not be probably more cost effective to euthanize some of them? Because for years ago, I used to have to take pets there, cats mostly, that were dropped off at the bleachery. They stopped taking them. We paid for several to be euthanized. I'm not euthanized, to be neutered. Why wouldn't that be more cost effective?
Well, we really want to try education, which is free. We just spend time doing it. We'd really rather spend the donation fund in a good way. So we're going to try that first. That's our intention. And hopefully, you know, over time, this kind of thing, this has been going on for so long that it will take so long to get it back under control. But I do appreciate everybody's care and concern about it, absolutely. I have a dog and 2 cats, 3 horses, so I got it. And they are all fixed, by the way. So, okay, where am I at now? Anybody else? Anyone else want to have, Randy, sorry, come on. I know, he's been patiently waiting. Please tell us who you are, even though we know.
I'm Randy Pittman. I'm speaking on behalf of the Walker County Historic Preservation Commission. The chairman of Operation Outreach spoke at the last meeting about bringing the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall replica to Walker County. That's still on. That'll be February the 21st from 2 to 7, and Saturday, February 22nd from 10 to 3. That'll be at the Rossville Gymnasium in Rossville at 301 William Street. Choo Choo Kettle Corn will be on site offering concessions. Operation Outreach and the Historic Preservation Commission will be there accepting donations. So come out. You know, this wall these prisoners built, they very seldom let out of the prison, and we was able to bring it to Walker County to honor our veterans. Next, some people had questions about the Davis Crossroad interpretive sign. The folks that put it up, we finally made contact with them. It's been ordered, and it'll be up at their convenience. The first phase of the historic resource survey over in the Villanelle area started, and you may have seen people out in the community, and they're legit, and we're working for the next phase, the next grant on that. Alexis has been working with us on that, so thank you, Alexis, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Hold on one second. So the Vietnam Vet Memorial, isn't that made out of cardboard?
Yeah, it's
very cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think it's cardboard. It may be some type of vinyl. I'm
Yeah.
not real 100% sure.
So it has to be inside because the rain, obviously weather would not do well with it, but I encourage everybody to go
And
see it.
there's a lot of
Very cool.
security things that go with it as well because of the prison and stuff. So y'all come out and check that out.
Yeah, the Georgia, what's our prison name? The
Walker State Prison.
Thank you. They're the one,
Yeah.
those prisoners are who built that.
Yeah.
And we're lucky to get to see it for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure
Is it
enough.
free for everyone to
It's
come?
free.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
Appreciate that. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Please tell us who you are.
I'm David O'Neill. Madam Chairman, Commissioners, distinguished guests, got a house full. My name is David O'Neill. I'm a retired pastor. I was born in Walker County. Walker County is my birthplace. I've been all over the world. And Walker County is absolutely the most beautiful place I've ever been. I love it. I'm here today with concerns about issues that is getting or has already gotten out of hand. Number one, every day I leave my ivory tower to drive somewhere, I get perturbed. Trash on Marble Top Road, Mission Ridge, Garris Chapel, Grand Center is atrocious. I've called the proper personnel many times. They've responded well, and I've called to thank them for their good work of cleaning the roadside. I had to call 6 months ago for the same problem, same reason. I got excuses then. I called again, got the same excuses. I called the other day, and I told him what my problem was, and he said, "You need to go to that meeting Thursday night." So here I am.
Well, welcome.
Thank you. Still today, the trash has not been addressed. It's getting worse. I mean, it's getting worse. I have a few ideas that I've seen work in other places that I've been. And if you're interested, you can call me. You can come by my house. I'll give you 5 minutes to discuss this with me.
Well, I didn't even charge you 5 minutes. Look at that. So I get more than 5 minutes.
By the way, pay close attention to the roadside on the way. Number 2, property taxes are out of control. I've known the excuses, I've heard them all. My response is I don't make the salary that people make in Atlanta, in California, and New York. This seems to be the reason why my taxes have gone through the roof. Retirees living in Walker County and some young couples in Walker County have a problem with paying taxes, paying the Atlanta taxes, the California taxes, New York taxes. When I leave my ivory tower, I noticed what used to be beautiful homes and landscapes when I was growing up here. They don't have updates on their houses. In fact, they're dilapidated. And you talk to them and ask them why, they say it's high taxes. This board just appointed a codes person to go after these people to clean up the property or lose their property. It makes absolutely no sense to me. I was told when I was 75 years old I could be exempt from paying school taxes. I filed. I was told that I was exempt. I am 77 years old. I'm still paying school taxes. This year, that tax jumped sky high. I have some ideas that works in other places. If you're interested, call me, visit with me. But on the way, notice the trash on the roadways. Number 3, accountability. I hear it often that Walker County has millions of dollars in the bank, and you're wanting more money by raising our taxes, T-splost or whatever that's called. I'd like to know where all the tax money collected from those new people that moved to Walker County. When I notice what I had to pay when I retired and moved back to Walker County, and then I consider what the people had to pay in taxes and fancier cars and huge, beautiful homes that moved in here, common sense tells me it's a bunch of money, a bunch of taxes. Yet my taxes are increased because they moved in. That's the story I give. I have some ideas. You can call me, you can come by and see me, and I will talk to you. I'll give you 5 minutes. I yield my time back to you.
Don't leave. I want to talk to you.
Come by and see me.
Well, hold on one second. I want to say, just if you don't mind, to stay for a minute. I don't want to force you to stay, but if you don't mind, just a second. First of all, Robert, will you give him my phone, my card for me? Because I would like to come and talk to you. And I would like to offer to bring our tax commissioner with me also, because he's much better at talking about taxes than I am.
That'd be a good idea.
He might not like that. The school taxes, so I think everybody knows pretty much, I think we've talked about it several times, that the school taxes are designated, determined, appropriated by the Department of, or Board of Education. So I'll get out in a minute. The Board of Education, not this board.
So they don't have accountability to nobody.
So that's a whole nother, that's a whole nother topic. And your litter ideas, I would like to ask you to speak on the litter.
Well,
I don't think he's my commissioner.
Doesn't matter.
This is countywide property problem, so, yeah.
It's a countywide problem.
Yes, sir. And we're addressing it.
County's all of our problems as well. It doesn't matter which district we're elected out of. When we've cast our ballots, it's for the county as a whole.
Okay.
So, but what we're trying to do, you're exactly right. We have a terrible litter problem. I think I attribute it a lot to, we talk about how beautiful our area is and the people here. A lot of the people need to remember they're upraising and quit throwing trash out on the roads. That's, first of all, we could do a lot better as individuals, and that's each and every one of us, okay? Because I pick up about a half a mile or better of road continually at my place. But we are working to, there's several different mechanisms that we've used before. We've used inmate labor. We used to do where we would actually use the people from Walker State Prison. We had a program back in the day where we would pay the yearly salary for the guard, and then the guard would bring however many prisoners they could get that day. And then the county would supply a van and a trailer, and they drive down the road and the guys on both sides. Well, we're looking at, and we're trying to, in the next couple of weeks, we'll probably be trying to roll it out, a little experimental thing where we're gonna try to have some litter control picked up on a contractual basis. We're gonna do a 30-day trial with a company that'll actually walk the ditches and pick up and bag it, a lot like that you see the state doing, where that you don't have a trailer in the road blocking traffic in bad areas and people just walking. So, and there are other ideas. I'd love to get with you and hear your ideas. We've got some other great ideas from some employees. So we've got a think tank going, and it has gotten out of hand, but it's being addressed as we speak, and you will be seeing some actions of some sort. It's virtually impossible to hire somebody, and if you know anybody looking, please send them. We put them online because we'll send them to the road department. You can't hire anybody to walk beside the truck and pick up trash. Bobby, would you speak to that one time? How long do they usually last? Just real quick.
A few months.
And then they're gone.
One that worked half a day.
Okay, thank you. So it's a problem that we deal with. It's frustrating for our department heads as well. It's very frustrating for us. We drive by it as well, and it is. So thank you for your concerns on it. Do give us an opportunity to try to pull some different things together and look at what your options are as well, okay?
I'm glad you asked the question, thank you.
Yeah.
Commissioner Hart.
So you mentioned taxes. If you look at our tax digest for the last 7 years, this Board of Commissioners has taken $14 million off property tax for 7 years. We have not wavered. Yes, your value has gone up. We have lowered the millage rate every year. I've been through this exercise with many people. They'll call and fuss about their property tax. I'll say, okay, pull your taxes for the last 7 years and I'll come and sit down with you. And I will show them on paper what we, the County Board of Commissioners, take in has pretty much been level, plus or minus, I think it's 0.8%.
Yeah.
So we have been, or tried to be very responsible with your tax dollars.
Yes, sir.
I can't speak for any of your other taxes, but we don't levy them, but we do levy your property tax. And we've tried to do a good job of that. And I think we have, and I will sit down and look at your taxes with you if you'd like for me to.
And Brian, on top of that, just to add too, and we don't have anything to do with the assessments either, because my taxes doubled as well, and I wasn't happy about that.
Well, your value doubled.
That's right.
So
your assessment, that's because of your assessment. Your assessment doubled, your value goes up, and your taxes go up.
That is why
and the state does it. That's not us. We don't
That's
have.
why I offered to have our tax assessor in the conversation with you.
Perfect.
Okay, anything else? Anybody? Thank you so much, Mr. O'Neill.
Appreciate it.
Is there anyone else that would like to have a public comment? All right. Now, so the next thing, we will move on to new business, and this is Resolution R-013. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. And I told them I was going to let them talk. I apologize. So, I'm just trying to move on. Presentation by Robert Grant at Pike Legal Group. They're going to talk about their application for construction of a wireless communications facility. So, gentlemen.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the commission. Co-counsel and I, David Pike, are honored to be here. We are awed at the process that you have here. This is democracy in action. It's very, very impressive, very impressive. I'm going to be respectful of your time. There's a lot I could say about this application. There have been public hearings when I've spoken for 45 minutes or an hour. I'm going to take 2 minutes here.
Okay.
I promise you, I'm going to be really brief. We have an application that meets all the requirements of your zoning ordinance. In addition to that, this application is responsive to the goals of your comprehensive plan. One of those goals is to improve E911 infrastructure. This tower will do that. 70% of all E911 calls are made with a mobile device, and it's critical for public safety that your mobile device works. I was in a public hearing in the Nashville market a few weeks ago, and one of the county commissioners stood up and told a story about a constituent who was involved in an automobile accident, was trapped in their vehicle, and their phone didn't work. They couldn't call for help. So they spent quite a bit of time alone and afraid in this vehicle, hoping that someone would come along and help them. Our mobile devices are how we communicate now. According to the CDC, 82% of all homes, 82% of all homes no longer have landlines. Homes with children no longer have landlines. People depend upon their mobile device to communicate with the outside world, to call for help when help is needed, to get those first responders there. Speaking of first responders, this tower will be loaded with AT&T's FirstNet communication equipment. What that is it's a brainchild that came out of 9/11. As we all know, when those towers went down, the first responders were overwhelmed in Manhattan because everybody was trying to call in to check on their loved ones or call out to communicate with their loved ones, and the first responders were trying to communicate with each other to try to coordinate their services to save lives, to respond to this emergency. So Congress decided that we needed a designated line for first responders. That's what FirstNet is. AT&T will be deploying this on this tower. So this will improve public safety in this community. And unlike some of the other things we talked about, of course, AT&T is paying for the cost of this public utility infrastructure. It's not going to come out of the county budget. So I know there was a lot of concern about the budget here. But I'm going to stop talking. I'm available for questions if you have questions now or when you call the application later. I see that you have our application in front of you. We have submitted a lot of information, and we've submitted all of this information because this is important. It's important to this community, and it's important that this commission understand, what all is involved with us deploying this infrastructure.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is the tower in Chickamauga, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Herman Buck Road, right.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, this will help us in our goal to provide more internet access across our county. So it's very, very well received and wanted and needed. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. This tower will deploy 5G technology, which speeds up internet access in this area. So in addition to the public safety and the FirstNet, it's also going to speed up internet. And because, face it, with our smartphones, I do my banking with my smartphone. I shop on Amazon.com. I watch Netflix videos. All of that data gobbles up bandwidth. And what that is if you think of old landlines, everybody trying to make a call at the same time, it overwhelms the system. You get a busy signal, you can't get a call through. But with mobile technology, what happens is that you may have bars, but your call doesn't go through, your call drops, or you're trying to send some data transfer, and it just churns and churns and churns. This tower will help that tremendously. So we're here to help.
Thank you so much for being
You're
here
welcome.
tonight. Does any of the board members have any questions?
I do. Oh, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
So, my question is somewhat related to what you said. So I live in a very rural part of the county too, way on the other side of the county. And a certain cell provider just put a tower up over there maybe 6 months ago, and it helped one particular cell company. But the other company, AT&T, which you work for, does not have anything on that tower. So will that come, or is that something you can even answer here?
Well, I can't speak to other carriers' networks.
Okay.
But it's a little bit like that Kevin Costner movie, Field of Dreams. You build it, they will come. what happens is that our tower is available to other carriers for co-location.
Okay.
We have agreements with all the other carriers. We welcome them. We invite them. So when the tower goes up, the other carriers, if it works and it fits into the needs of their network, they'll come to us and we'll reach an agreement with them. They'll put their equipment on our tower. So if you have service with Verizon or a different carrier, it'll improve that service as well.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Wilson?
What is y'all schedule? When y'all plan to start the construction of this?
You know, the construction department is not my department, and I don't really track what they do. What I can tell you is that of late, these towers have been going up pretty fast after approval. There have been some in the past that have taken quite a bit longer for a variety of reasons. Build plans change, the company shifts resources to co-locating on other towers, changing out, upgrading equipment to 5G equipment. So it's kind of a little bit of a shell act, where are we going to put our resources today? All of it is intended to improve service to this community. So I can't answer it directly. I'm ever hopeful that it'll be soon.
ATT needs to be updating.
Sure. Anything else?
No, sir.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I have one question for John personally on this.
John personally?
Yeah,
Okay.
John, historically, all our cell tower permits come through planning and zoning, and so all the i's been dotted and t's been crossed there, because this is a new procedure, kind of. Would you speak to that?
Yes, sir, that's correct. Before it just went through planning and zoning, if it was in allowable use.
Yes, it's his first time it's come to us. I want him to explain it.
Okay.
Do have some paperwork on this as well to give y'all, just to give you a description of the location, since Ms. Teams asked. It gives you a breakdown and gives you the ordinance section that allows this as well, and the zoning it's currently in.
That's okay, we can share.
I'll have one here for each
Okay.
of you. There you go. So yes, you're correct. So previously it went through planning and zoning for the permitting process, and if it was an allowable use and everything was in compliance, it just went with the building process and moved forward. It changed roughly, I think about a year and a half ago, where it has to go and be voted on from the BOC to get approval for towers. And so there is some criteria it must meet distance-wise from a house. It's also the zoning and whatnot. It does currently meet all the requirements that's needed for this project.
And the reason I ask is because it does come through your office for permitting, but it doesn't go to planning and zoning anymore. It comes straight to us.
That's
So I wanted to make
that's
sure that-
that's exactly right. Yes, sir. I misunderstood what you're saying. That's correct. Yeah. So they're not asking for anything that's not allowed. So it has to go through. Does not go to the planning and zoning board for approval. It comes directly to you.
Thank you
To
for that
this
explanation.
board. Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Any further discussion on this topic?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Then, if I can get myself back on track, we're going to unfinished business. So this was left over from our last meeting. Resolution R-005-25 was tabled at our January meeting to provide additional time to work out an agreement of services for legal counsel with Gerard and Davis Law Firm. Their fee schedule as part of this resolution is good through December 31st, 2026. The board also retains the authority to terminate this agreement at any time. So if we are not satisfied with their services or the work that they're performing for us, we can terminate it with no cause. We can just say we're done. So I will call for a motion to
Motion to-
approve. Thank you, I'm sorry. Go
Motion
ahead.
to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Askew. Is there a second?
Second.
I will take Mr. Blakemore, second. Is there any discussion on this item? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, the motion so passes to have Gerard and Davis be our county attorney at record. Thank you, guys. Now on to new business. Resolution R-013-25 to amend the regular meeting calendar. So we discovered that a couple of our upcoming dates are on holidays. So this will provide the language to clarify what happens when a regularly scheduled board meeting conflicts with a county holiday. For example, July 4th is the first Thursday of that month, and so we have to move that meeting to the following Thursday, July the 10th. This will allow other departments who wait on us for making decisions to know what to do before or after our change of date. Do I have a motion on the floor?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Is there any discussion on this topic?
Just one thing to add, you mentioned July, but it also changes January.
Yeah.
It does. I just gave an example, but you're
Okay.
right, exactly.
So
Yeah.
it changes two meetings.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, January 1st of 2026, obviously is New Year's Day, so we'll move it to the next week.
Okay, very good.
So I have a motion by Mr. Blakemore, I have a second by Mr. Wilson. Any discussion? Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
No, ma'am.
Hearing none, then the motion passes. Thank you, guys. Resolution R-014-25 to appoint members of the Limestone Valley Resource Conservation and Development District. This reappoints Commissioner Hart and Mr. David Matson to the Limestone Valley Resource Conservation and Development District. I would like to ask Mr. Hart to explain what that is for all of us.
I will. So a lot of people don't know it exists, but Stephen Benetoke is the manager of that. It services a lot of counties in northwest Georgia. He's got a big project going in Floyd County right now in Rome. But what he recently, for Walker County, the big sewer project on the north end of the county in Robert and Mark's district, helped a lot of people with their septic tanks and stuff. And so a lot of conservation work that they do, a lot of work around creeks and streams. We also work very closely with him with the Coosa River Soil and Water Conservation District. So Stephen does a great job managing that. David's been on that board for at least 8 years, and I've served for the last 3 years on it. So that's kind of what we do. And and they're actually looking at doing another project similar to the one they did in the north end of Walker County in the south end in the future. So Stephen wants to meet with you with that.
Okay.
You and I maybe as soon as he's done with the project down in Rome, in Floyd County.
Sounds like a very valuable service that you guys supply.
It
for the
is.
county.
It is. He does a lot for a lot of people, and he has a very small staff. It's actually headquarters out of Dade County, is where he's based out of. But they service, I know, Dade, Walker, parts of Catoosa, all of Chattooga, and part of Floyd.
Okay, so a big, wide berth.
It is.
Do I have a motion on the floor to approve?
Motion to reappoint.
Thank you, Mr. Askew. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The motion passes to reappoint Commissioner Hart and David Matson to the Limestone Valley Resource Conservation and Development District. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Yes, ma'am.
The next one is Resolution R-015-25 to appoint a representative to the Chattanooga-Hamilton County, North Georgia Metropolitan Planning Organization. Walker County is a member of the Chattanooga-Hamilton County, North Georgia Metropolitan Planning Organization. This northern section of the county is eligible for certain federal and state funding for transportation projects that are coordinated through the Metropolitan Planning Organization. One project we would like to explore would be safe routes to school, which would be a grant for sidewalks in the Happy Valley Road area. I think some sidewalk lighting might apply to this also. I'd be interested to explore that opportunity. So I would like to ask for the board to consider this motion.
You're putting in a form.
I'm sorry, I'm reading, yes, thank you. We're making a motion to appoint Joe Legee, who is our communications specialist. He just got a new title, I'm sorry, Joe, I can't remember what it is. And to serve as our representative on the MPO, and I'm not saying your whole name, Alex Litz as our alternate. So I'd like to have a motion on the floor to make these appointments.
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Is there any discussion on the item?
No discussion.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion passes to appoint Joe Legee and to serve as a representative and Alex Slitz to be our alternate. Thank you all for serving. All right, next one, Resolution R-016-25 to appoint members to the Walker County Planning Commission. This is to reappoint Mr. Stan Porter and Mrs. Cindy Askew to the Planning Commission. Both are current members in good standing. May I have a call for a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And Mr. Askew, thank you.
Discussion.
I'm sorry, discussion? My tongue is getting in my way. Is there a discussion on this item? Okay.
I would like to say these two folks do a great job for us. Stan's been on there a long time, and Cindy's been on there for, I think, 4 years. She reported when we first took office, so they both do a great job for us there.
Yes,
They really do.
And I'm proud that they wanted to be
Yes.
reappointed.
As I am too, yes, ma'am.
So did I have a motion to approve?
Yeah.
And a second? And discussion? And now we need to vote, okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, motion passes to reappoint Stan Porter and Cindy Askew to the Planning Commission. Thank you. Let's see, Resolution R-017-25 to appoint members of the Walker County Animal Control Board. So I'm making the motion to amend the resolution to include the appointment of Janice Williams as an alternate. So we are reappointing 3 people, but I'm asking to amend to include a alternate. We don't have an alternate now, so I'm asking the board, I'm making the motion that we approve Janice Williams as an alternate. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion about that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Then the motion passes to elect Janice Williams as an alternate, and we really appreciate her service to the community. She's very passionate about what she does. So now we can go to the motion to accept the resolution as amended to reappoint Shannon Beasley, Mike Nolan, and John Conley to the Animal Control Board. These are current, and Janice Williams as an alternate. But these are current board members, and they really care about our community and our animals, and I'm making the motion that we accept their reappointment. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Askew. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, the motion passes to reappoint Shannon Beasley, Mike Nolan, and John Conley to the Animal Control Board, and Janice Williams as an alternate. Thank you. All right. Now we have Resolution R-018-25 to expend 2020 splosh funds. This goes back to what we were talking about earlier, and I'm happy to elaborate to the board for any additional information that you need. This will allow me to purchase a vehicle when I find one. They're hard to find. I've been trying to find a used vehicle for myself, and they get gone before I can ever even get to look at it. And when we have a need, like the coroner needs a new vehicle, and his will be handed down to his deputy. This is what we do on these vehicles, is we are replacing old vehicles. These are not brand new things. Now mine's new because I don't have one now. But I'm offering to the board that I need funds to be able to go and when I find a vehicle that I can purchase. So I'd like to make the motion that this resolution to expend 2020 splosh funds for vehicles be approved. Do I have a second? We're going to discuss it, so I can't get to the discussion until we...
I'll second it, but I want to discuss it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, I want to too. So is there discussion, Mr. Hart?
Yeah, so it's $150,000 for how many vehicles?
Well, I would assume it would be about 3.
3, and those 3 vehicles would go where?
Well, one would be mine,
Got that.
one would be the coroner, and I had one anticipated for another codes employee who we do not have yet. So this is not, so because we have a month-long period between our meetings, it would take me a month to get the approval to buy another vehicle for someone that might get hired tomorrow. But I'm open for discussion. I'm just offering the idea.
So, obviously, you need to have a vehicle. The coroner, how many vehicles are on his staff now?
3.
There's 3 now, so we'll have a 4th one on there?
No, we would retire the oldest one, and then the other ones would roll down to the other. So in fact, let me give you this example. This is a little jumping ahead, but later when we talk about one of these other vehicles, I'm trading one in
Okay.
on a vehicle.
Okay.
So we can do that.
Okay, so,
Or we could sell it to another,
so your vehicle would be in addition to our fleet.
mine would be, yes.
The coroner's vehicle would not be in addition because you'd take one out of
That's
surplus.
right, that's right.
Okay, and the code's employee's vehicle would be in
New one,
addition. So we're looking at adding 2 new vehicles to the county fleet.
Yes, so the codes, we don't
Okay.
have the codes person now, so that could be one that we say no to, because we don't have that person. That was just an example.
Okay.
The coroner obviously is asking for consideration now.
Mm-hmm.
Some things we have to order, and it takes months and months and months to get them.
I understood.
So, I don't know if anybody's ever tried, or has recently tried to buy a car, they're super expensive. And that's
It's
why.
hard to find, if you find them, like you said,
Yeah.
we've had that issue before, when you could find them, you needed to get them, you know.
When we did have a codes department, did they have vehicles?
They've been dispersed, they were dispersed, there were plenty at one time, but they've been dispersed to other departments
Yeah.
over the years.
We do
and
use all of our
administrations.
vehicles. I have done it, and I've been checking our assets, and they're all accounted for, and they are all in use. There are some that are broken down, that's another discussion for another day. We have some that are just really old and not even safe to be on the road. We'll get to that too, but I feel like I'm giving you too much information, so.
No, that's good.
And I will offer, if the board feels like this is an item that you want to table, that is totally fine. I'm just opening up the discussion. So what is the pleasure of the board?
Well, I've already voted, so I'm gonna back up.
So I'm going to re-ask the motion then, now that we've had discussion.
Okay. You're withdrawing your original
I'm
motion.
withdrawing my motion, and I'm going to allow the board to either make the motion or,
Well, let me understand, with 2 of them, we know we need 2, right?
well, I'd like to have one. I've had 2 hand-me-downs from other departments so
Well,
far that I've had to give back.
Well, I was gonna say, well, then, I think the truck that you were in, somebody's got it now, right?
That was being traded in.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that's what you're gonna try, okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
And you're gonna hire codes officers.
Oh, yeah,
It's
that's
just a
no
matter
doubt
of
about it.
time.
Eventually, yeah.
there's no
I don't
doubt.
know when. So like I said, this is not going to happen next week.
Mm-hmm.
This could be months from now, actually.
It's giving you the authority to do it as well.
I make the motion to approve the request.
Okay, Mr. Blakemore has made the motion to approve the request. Is there a second motion to approve?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Is there any discussion further on the matter?
Yes. So I would just like for you to keep us closely briefed with your purchasing. I don't want to spend $149,000 on a Cadillac Escalade.
I promise I
We need 3 vehicles.
I could do that.
I know,
It's
I know,
easy.
I know, but-
I wouldn't do that, I promise.
I know,
That's why I'm
but
trying to
just,
find a used
just as
vehicle
you
for me.
would, just keep us abreast on the.
Absolutely.
On the developments as you find it.
In fact, I can even go as far as to offer, which I probably would do this anyway, but I'm publicly offering the fact that I could try to contact my vice chair when I find a vehicle, so that he's aware of it. If he's unavailable, I'll just keep going down the line until I get
Yeah.
one of y'all, so
Yeah.
you know.
Just keep
what's
us
happening.
abreast.
As long as
on it.
we're, yeah.
So, I want to explain this too. I don't walk around with a check in my hand. It's not like that. I literally will have to go to our CFO, who will approve what I'm doing, and then have his accounts payable clerk write the check to the dealer that I'm buying the vehicle from. So I'm not writing the check. So there is checks and balances of what I'm doing. Any
Okay.
further discussion?
No, ma'am.
Thank you for that question. I appreciate the transparency that we're trying to have here. Absolutely. All right, so no further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, the motion to approve the expending of 2020 splosh funds for county vehicles is approved. Thank y'all for the discussion.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's see. At this time, Alex is already there. Thank you. You can hear me. I would like Alex to to talk about this next item because she's passionate about this because it was her grant that she was awarded. So please explain to what this means and what we need to do
So
for
with
you.
my former hat, I was still the jail liaison and grant writer for the sheriff's office. And Sheriff Wilson is very proactive and understands the mental health issue that we have in the jail. So to give you an example, we currently, like right now, we have 193 people in our jail. At least 40% of them have mental health issues, either undiagnosed or to some issue, possibly due to opioid usage and the like. So we're looking at 78 people that have mental health issues. So I wrote this grant, and it is actually for the behavioral health deflection is the title, or what the term is for it. But I titled it the WCSO Jail Behavioral Treatment and Reentry Program. And the goal with this is to have a full-time therapist on staff and a case manager on staff full-time, to where they would work with each and every inmate to find out what's the issue. Is it a housing? Are they homeless? Are they having a drug issue? That type of thing. To work for them, taking them from being an inmate to being a constructive citizen. And it is no cost to the jail. The actual funds are $191,386. It does run until December 30th of this year. There was a delay just due to some of the federal, funds being frozen. And so there is a possibility of an extension and also the possibility that this would be renewed. And so we are looking at other grants and funds to keep this in place for the purposes of really improving what's going on in the jail.
And I'll add that the reason that we are hearing about this today is because the county government is the fiduciary responsible party for any grant funds that come through any department in the county. So we have to run it through our banking system. Our CFO takes care of all the money coming and going, when there's a disbursement, when there's a deposit, and so that's why Alex is here to tell us about this fund that's coming our way that we'll be responsible for. Do any of the board members want to ask Alex anything else for discussing?
I just see the matching funds is zero.
Correct.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
So is that for, that for 2 salaries? Is that what that money will
Yes,
go
if you
straight
look
for
at
those
the actual-
salaries?
Yes, if you look at the budget, it's actually for 2 salaries and all of the extra fringe benefits that go along with that, as well as a seeking safety training, which is a peer-reviewed protocol to actually work with the inmates in regards to PTSD, trauma, and the like. It would cover all of that, including their travel and expenses to the training.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very
Thanks, Alex.
interesting. All right, our next item is the Georgia Indigent Defense Services Agreement, and if the board will allow me to ask Jad Johnson, our public defender, Lookout Mountain Judicial Circuit, to come up and explain this item to us. We welcome Mr. Johnson. Hello.
Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chad Johnson. I'm the Circuit Public Defender here for the Lookout Mountain Judicial Circuit, which includes Walker County, as well as Chattooga and Catoosa counties. Before the board tonight, we have the Georgia Indigent Defense Contract, which allows my office to contract with the counties and the state of Georgia, the Georgia Public Defender Council, to provide services for indigent clients, those who cannot afford to hire their own attorneys, who are charged in the Superior and Juvenile Courts of Walker County as well as the other counties in our circuit. This contract is the same as the contract that has been approved for the past, I don't know how many years now. I'm on my 20th year of being a public defender here in Walker County. And my predecessor, who was the chief public defender, basically had this same contract that I presented to you all. So there's no surprises. It's the same thing that we've had in place for many, many years now. I'll be happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Gentlemen? Any questions? All right. Are we voting on this tonight? Is that what we're, I'm sorry, my note has left me hanging, so. You would like for us to vote on this tonight?
I would like for you to vote on it tonight.
All right, you can have a seat, and we'll do our voting then. So I would like to ask for a motion to approve the public defender's request for the service agreement to be re-signed.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore. Is there any discussion?
No, ma'am.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? All right, so moved.
and I've got the original.
Yes, I forgot, we're signing
That's
that right now, yes. I
Already been
apologize.
signed by 2 other county executives.
Good salesman, John.
That's why I do for a living, I argue. Convince people to do things.
Appreciate y'all doing it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's a hard road to hoe, for sure. Lisa, will you do the attest right to the sign my name, please?
And I'll provide copy once all parties have signed.
Okay, thank you, yeah. Thanks for reminding me I had to sign it.
Thank you all.
Thank you for being here. All right, next we're going to consider the application for the construction of the wireless communications facility at 385 Herman Buck Lane. We heard our folks from Pike, I want to get it right, I want to say it right. Did I say it right?
Yes,
you did say it
right.
Pike Legal.
Pike Legal, there you go. We heard their wonderful presentation and the value of this. These folks are fitting in well with our community connectivity plan to provide more internet access. As we learned from our research earlier, I think we talked about it like maybe last month, regarding household usage, this is the only way that 13.4% of our people in our county have access to internet. So that's not a lot. They're really suffering in some areas. So I make the motion to approve the construction of a wireless communications facility in Chickamauga. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Askew. Any discussion on the item?
No, ma'am.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, it is so moved. Unanimous approval.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. We look forward to working with you. All right, on to the purchase orders. More fun stuff. With the board's pleasure, I would like to invite Curtis Creekmer, our EMA director, to speak about the first 2 items. If Curtis will come forward. Thank you, Curtis.
No, thanks for the opportunity to speak, and thank you for your service to our community.
Yes.
Which one would you like me to speak on
The
first?
first one is the 45 mobile radios for the sheriff's office.
The Sheriff's Department was requesting funds to replace or upgrade existing original radios for their fleet in the field to the updated options for encryption and stuff we're planning on adding in the next year or so, and just the replace of the obsolete radios that are not serviceable anymore on the system.
How old are those radios, just out of curiosity?
12 plus years.
Oh, wow, okay, yeah, that's old.
There's a few through the fleet that are 5 and 6. They bought some radios along the way, but this is gonna take care of the entire fleet to
Right.
get prepared for encryption.
Okay. And the second item is your 5 mobile radios, 8 portable radios, and 10 batteries for the fire and rescue.
The fire department
rescue, yep.
is preparing for their new vehicle that they've been approved and purchased, so those will be going in those vehicles. And radios are just backup radios for the fleet.
And the batteries for all that equipment.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And we're voting on these?
Yes, purchase order.
You have the, okay, yeah,
We have
okay.
to. It's over
So we're-
25,000.
So we need to do one at a time, though?
Yes, ma'am, we
Okay.
do.
So,
Purchase order.
yeah, purchase order 2025, thank you, dash 0000913 for $107,406.37 to Sunny Communications for 45 mobile radios for the Walker County Sheriff's Office. This is through the 2020 Splosh. I need a motion from someone to approve.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this?
Just a question for Curtis, please. So, of course, the PO we voted on just says 1 each, and the bill is 107,000. So that 1 represents
45.
45.
In the PO system,
Yeah.
what they'll do is do a PO for the total purchase.
Okay.
Instead of putting 45 POs in for each item.
Understood. But even on the invoice, it's not broken out. So I'm sure that's what they're going for, but it's 45 of the walkie-talkies, is that right?
The mobile radios.
Is that the ones in the vehicle?
The car radio?
Yes.
Okay.
So it says 45 right there.
It does say that, you're right, I'm looking over here, thank you,
No
thank you,
worries.
Angie. Okay,
You're
very
not
good,
the
that's all the questions.
Okay, thank you.
So these
All the
are
questions.
the ones that go in the vehicles, not
Yes.
personal radios?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any further discussion? I think I did that backwards, sorry.
We had the discussion.
Okay, we had the discussion already.
gotta have it.
Then it was unanimous approval of the 45 mobile radios.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, the next one, I need a motion to approve the purchase order 2025-00000909 for $84,162.24 to Motorola Solutions for 5 mobile radios, 8 portable radios, and 10 batteries for the fire rescue. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Askew. Is there any discussion on the matter? None? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, this purchase order is also approved. Thank you, Mr. Creekmer.
Do I have
Can-
one more on
Yeah,
there?
I was gonna say, you wanna stay and do that one?
Yeah.
That's totally fine. So we're gonna skip down just 2 more to the third one, purchase order 916. This is the purchase order for a vehicle for emergency management. So Mr. Creekman, please tell us about that request.
So when you're talking about moving vehicles or older vehicles around in the fleet, we have a IT position that we are posted, and we're fixing the fill in the IT position. My vehicle that I'm currently on right now will move. It's under the IT department now. It will move to that position because they're out in the field working in all the departments and responding. And then when the vehicle becomes available, my role under EMA will take that vehicle in.
Yeah. So just a couple things I'd like to add. That position you mentioned is a budgeted position from last year, or maybe 2 years.
Yeah,
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. So we're filling that position now.
Yeah, we're actually.
That was already
Yes.
included in the budget?
It was,
Yeah.
yes, and approved, and it just never got posted.
Okay.
So is there a motion on the floor to approve the Prater Ford vehicle, oh, I'm sorry, let me say the whole thing. Purchase order 2025-0000916 for $63,805.40 to Prater Ford for a vehicle for emergency management under the funding of 2020 SPLOST. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Askew. Is there any discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
So is this vehicle another vehicle being added to our county fleet, or is something being sold?
It's a new vehicle added to the fleet under emergency management, which that position and the IT position both have been approved in this year's budget.
Right, understood. Okay, I just wanted to, I'm just keeping up with the vehicles who were added to the fleet. Okay, thank you, Curtis.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you. Thank
Wait a minute, we're not finished.
Oh, I'm sorry.
See, I caught myself.
You did. Very good.
So, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, the motion is approved to purchase the vehicle for EMA.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have, I'm sorry. Oh, well, that would help. So I need to go back and talk about Alex's grant. We did not, y'all didn't catch me on that. I thought we did vote for that. Okay, well, I apologize, Alex. Let's go backwards, and we're going to talk about the,
Georgia Indigent Defense Service.
no, it's the one above that one. It's the
That was
governor,
James.
I was trying to see,
That was
the
Criminal
Criminal
Justice
Justice
Council.
Coordinating Council Sub-Grant Award.
Behavioral health
So this-
deflection grant.
Yes, these are the grant for 2 positions in the jail, and do I have a motion on the floor to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Hart. Is there any discussion necessary? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, hearing none, the motion is passed and the grant is approved. Thank you, Alex. It takes a village to keep me straight. I'm sorry? Yes, I will, thank you. Thanks, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna back up to what is the third one, the purchase order 2025-0000905 for $59,870 to Jenkins Chrysler Dodge for a vehicle for the Facilities Maintenance Department. Is Stacy Higdon here? No? Okay, that's okay. I can talk about this. So this is I think they call it a panel truck. No, it's a box truck.
It's a
I don't know what it's
three-quarter ton truck with a service
Utility
bed on it.
bed,
Okay,
service bed.
yeah. So this is a new vehicle. So this team does not have a vehicle for them today. So Stacy, the vehicle that they're driving, Stacy Higdon will assume. But this team needs a vehicle. It's a 4-door. It will carry the crew around and all their tools.
Okay.
So, do I have a motion on the floor to approve? I can't ask for discussion until we do that. Okay.
Motion approved.
Thank you, Mr.
Second.
Wilson. Thank you, Mr. Blakemore. Seconded by Mr. Blakemore. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is another vehicle being added to the county fleet, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So keep in mind, we are.
That's fine.
Okay.
I just wanted.
I'll be quiet.
Yeah, I'm just,
Keeping track.
right.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, the motion passes to purchase the vehicle from Jenkins Chrysler Dodge. Thank you, guys. The next one is for John Persley. I'd like for him to come up as I say what this is, please. Purchase order 2025-00000920 for $47,510.16 to Prater Ford for a vehicle for the Planning and Codes Department. I don't know if that's right. It says Planning and Codes. But
Yeah, it's going
go
to be
ahead.
for planning,
Okay.
inspection codes. I mean, it's all under the same
Okay.
umbrella currently. So
Please explain what we're going to be using this vehicle for.
So we're going to be using it for myself. We had, as Brian Hart asked earlier, if we had vehicles for the code enforcement department, and yes, we did at one time, but as we failed to hire folks over the last year and a half, we've been budgeted for 2 codes officers, which I hired one. He started on January 23rd, and one actually started today, had his orientation, and started work today. So we currently have 2 new code enforcement officers as we rebuild that department. And so we're currently short a vehicle, one vehicle. We did have vehicles before, but over the last year or so, they've been handed down as needed in other departments. So we're currently in need for one. And so I'm currently going to hand my vehicle down and get a vehicle that allows me to also transport. You know, I deal with developers, engineers, contractors daily, and currently everyone has to drive due to the size of my vehicle. So I'm going to get something that accommodate that. Instead of having 4 vehicles driving to the same site each time, we can just take one.
Sure. So it's in addition to the fleet as well?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Understood.
So hold on.
Which we did, we did have a few vehicles that were designated for codes.
Right.
You know, one went to maintenance department, one went to the civic center, one went to animal control. The other one went to maintenance as well. So,
Understood.
so we've handed them down, or they were pulled, not, I wouldn't say willingly, or not something I did, but previous administration chose to move them elsewhere. And so we're short currently a vehicle because they've been handed down
Right.
or moved on, so.
Very good. Okay.
So, just hold on a second, let's vote for it, because they may have questions. Ms. Mance may have
Oh,
questions.
I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine, it's fine. Okay, so do I have a motion on the floor to approve the purchase of this vehicle?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore. Do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Hart.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, the motion passes. It's approved to buy the vehicle. Thank you.
John.
So the next one was the one that Mr. Creekmore already talked about, so we're moving on down to, I would like to invite Director Payne, if he's here. Director Payne here? Yes.
Yes.
All right. This is purchase order 2025-00000918 for $46,533 to Prater Ford for a vehicle for the landfill. So, Mr. Payne, would you please explain to us about, actually, we have 2 vehicles for you.
Correct.
So let's talk about the 2 vehicles that you.
Okay. Prior to the 2020 splosh, the previous administration gathered some department heads together, and we worked out what we felt we would need through the splosh season. And I had put down a service truck, a service and fuel truck, and an extended cab pickup truck for a total of $110,000. So that's been approved in our splosh. We were able to trade a few things around with some of the other departments, and we picked up a truck from the sheriff's department with an extended cab, and we've been using it as kind of to transport trustees and also as a site vehicle. Right? We also have it's a 2005 1500 Dodge Ram. It's got 150,000 miles on it. I've been driving the Ranger, which was on site when I arrived, and I started driving it full time probably a couple of years after I arrived. It's a 2009 Ranger with about 219,000. I just rolled over 219 today. So these trucks would replace the site truck and the truck that I've been driving. And the combined cost of it would actually, out of the $110,000 that we proposed, it's actually saving the county $17,000. So we feel like it's a good move. The trucks that these will replace, the site vehicle and mine, those other trucks can be placed on site and used as on-site landfill trucks. And that'll take some of the wear and tear off of the new vehicles and extend their lives, hopefully as long as what we've been able to get out of the ones that we currently have.
I will add to that, if I may, that Payne has a new extended role in the county. So his role will take him all over the county as the Director of Environmental and Solid Waste Management. So he will remain the director over the landfill. We will have a manager there on site every day, but his role will take him across the county. What are some of the things you're going to be working on? Brownfields?
Right.
Dumping sites?
Some solid waste, some hazardous waste sites. Compliance, stormwater.
Coach building.
Yes.
Yeah, the coach
Yes.
building in Rossville,
Get that
that's a big
wrapped
one,
up.
that's right.
Yeah, and it'll involve trips back and forth to Atlanta. It'll involve transporting regulators from Atlanta that come up here to visit our sites, and also with working with department heads as well and their regulatory compliance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to start trying to comply with EPD.
So,
Do I have a motion on the floor to approve these two? Oh, sorry, there's two vehicles, right? Yeah, two
Right,
vehicles.
right.
So I'll do one at a time. Is there a motion on the floor to approve purchase order 2025-00000918 for the vehicle for the landfill? Do I have a motion on the floor?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Askew. Is there any further discussion about the one vehicle?
So the first vehicle will be replacing another vehicle or in addition to the other vehicle?
it'll be a replacing vehicle, and we can take that vehicle and use it as like a work-face vehicle.
Right.
And I wanted to point out too, if I can.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So in that initial $110,000 that we proposed, one was for a site service and fuel truck. We're actually able to, through the graciousness of the road department, we were able to grab one of the vehicles that was going to go to auction and take it and convert it to a service truck for the landfill. So we put a 100-gallon fuel tank on it, air compressor, tools, things like that. And that's what we take around and fuel our vehicles and service some of the equipment in the field. So that was a benefit for the landfill. And that's why we're able to save, some money here.
Very resourceful.
In the long run, yeah.
So, we've had discussion. Any further discussion?
No, ma'am.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Then the motion passes to buy this one vehicle for the landfill. Let's do the same thing for the second one. So this one is purchase order 2025-00000917 for $45,519.00 to Prater Ford for a vehicle for the landfill. And again, this is out of the 2020 splosh money. And Payne has given us the explanation of that. Do I have a motion on the floor to approve this second vehicle? Anyone? Just Motion, anybody?
Motion approved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there a discussion?
So this vehicle is an addition as well, or we're replacing the other one? Will you keep the old ones, what I'm asking? It will, okay.
Both of them are existing.
So how does that work?
We're replacing two existing vehicles.
Surplus.
And you keep it.
Well, they're gonna keep them. They're not surplus.
Yeah, we're not surplusing those, so they can keep them on site.
Yeah.
And not use the new, you basically, like, I guess you could say untagged or uninsured, if you didn't leave the site. You could, I don't know what your plans are there.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, they'll be site vehicles.
But-
Right now, we have these Kawasaki mules side-by-sides that we use, but these will actually be trucks where we can haul equipment and we can,
It's more safe.
But how many mules do you have on site?
3.
3, and then you're gonna have 4 vehicles, so 7 vehicles on site.
Yeah.
And how many employees do you have?
12.
And you visited the landfill, so that there's a lot of space that has to be covered for different reasons.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get in my head.
No, I'm just adding, that's, yeah.
Very good,
It's
yeah.
good discussion. Any further discussion necessary? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, the motion is approved to buy the vehicle for the landfill. Thank you, Mr. Payne.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, next one, I have a representative from the sheriff's office. Yeah. This is for purchase order 2025-00000921 for $29,969.00 to Jackie Jones Automotive for a vehicle for the Walker County Sheriff's Office. And I think
Captain Anderson.
Captain Anderson is here to speak about that.
Yeah, this is to replace a vehicle that was totaled in a crash in Chattooga County. Wasn't the sheriff's office fault. Another vehicle turned in front of them, so we're getting an insurance settlement, and we want to use additional splice money from the vehicle accounts to supplement to buy a used Dodge Charger to replace the one we lost.
Okay.
All right, do I have a motion on the floor to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Askew. Any discussion? Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Thank you for being here
Thank you,
tonight. Now, I would like to invite Rick Carr and Carlin Bowers, if they're here. Looks like Rick's by himself. This purchase order, 2025-00000923 for $99,998.00 to Estes, oh, Carlin is here, sorry, to Estes Equipment Company for a fuel system upgrade for the County Public Works Department. So I cannot wait to hear about this one. So go ahead, tell us all about this fuel system we need.
It's just a new system to replace the existing system. It's 20-plus years old. We're coming to around $14,000 in repairs in the last 2 years. So it's just an aging system that needs to be replaced and updated so it can be more efficient.
Is this our,
Hold on one second, I'll ask them. Hang on a
okay,
second.
okay.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
That's okay, that's all right. Did you want to add anything else, Carlin, or?
So, yes, some of the, going with Estes, a lot of their equipment that they're replacing is compatible with a lot of the underground that runs to our building currently. Right now, we have one machine that makes the chips for our fuel and everything for everybody who gets fuel in the county. We have a little chip key, reads everything. It goes to one computer. That's where all of the fuel reports come from to Greg once a month. With this, we're still going to have one thing to make the chip keys, but we can have multiple access to it for multiple people. And having our pumps replaced, like Rick said, they were there when I was started 20 years ago, and I believe that those were actually the ones that were moved from the front.
I was in charge of moving.
Yeah, so I think those are the same pumps.
So that's 20-plus years.
Now, so the technology with it's going to be a whole lot better, and they're currently not being properly monitored. The monitoring system is outdated, and what do you say, they're not, they don't make the stuff to,
Yeah, they can't support the pumps anymore if they go down. They can't support the reader that they plug into down there at the pump. If it, certain parts, they've been Band-Aiding it, putting it through, trying to get it to work, make it stay working, but they're now at the point where they can't get parts and support, and neither can they support the pumps anymore. So if the pump goes down at this point, other than a filter, then it's pretty much down and we're not fuel.
So we'll have a discussion in just a second. Can I have a motion on the floor to approve the purchase of the fuel system upgrade?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore. Now, is there a discussion?
I just wanted to make sure, two things. One, this is not involving the tanks, it's just the equipment above ground. And it's not involving the equipment from the pumps to the actual building. What's in conduit's gonna work. You're basically under the canopy, what's there, the pumps and supporting equipment for that.
By using Estes.
Right.
They're capable of that, and they can just upgrade the electronics and the monitoring system and stuff like that.
Because that's who we've had,
Yes.
Estes has been doing.
They take care of us and the landfill.
Okay.
They support
And
us.
that is our only real fueling facility. So I know it's our major, but I guess it's really our only one that's
it's
accessible.
the only one it's the only one in the county for all of the county.
Right, and with 24-hour access.
Yes.
Okay. No problem, thank you.
Any other discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
So I spoke with Rick today, and we had a great discussion about this. As Ms. Housley pointed out when the meeting started, we have invested about $500,000 here. Some of these things, we can't get other quotes on, like the radios. I talked to Chief Hodge quite a bit about it today, and he told me a word, and the word is sole source funded for some of this stuff. So we have to go directly to the source. The vehicles, I understand you got the state contract that they have to give you a certain price no matter which dealership you go to. So I understand that piece of it. This piece of it is something that I think we can get more prices on. Because there's plenty of companies that do this. And I'm not saying that Estes wouldn't be the cheapest price, but if we're investing, just say $100,000 here, I wonder if we shouldn't get another quote or two just to see where they are, because, I mean, that's a lot of money.
Have y'all spoken?
No, I did not,
Okay.
because we do Estes all the time. Another thing, after we spoke, I checked into, if we get another company that's farther away, that's who has to support that system. Estes is 26 minutes away.
Right. Are there other companies in Chattanooga, Dalton area that do it? Because Estes is in Chattanooga, Birmingham, Cartersville, and Huntsville. Are there other companies that could give us a quote?
I did not get into that. I mean, being this late in the game, I did not get into that yet.
Yeah, I know we talked
can't.
about it just today.
Yeah, but no, like I said, I just went with Estes because that's who's been maintaining us for the last 20 years. So that's kind of the reason.
I can add, so when Rick got the first quote, it was $113,000
From?
Estes. Is that right?
Yes.
So I called him and I said, hey, can you do me better than that? And that was the price they gave me. But I'm willing to do whatever you'd like to do, absolutely.
Well, obviously we're going to vote on it, but I just feel like when we're spending $100,000 and we have the ability to get another quote, I feel like that we should. I know Rick's worked with these people, Carter worked with these people. They're probably the best people to do the job, but we're spending, everybody's money. And if it was me personally, I would just get another quote just to keep people honest. Because a lot of times, in my experience, when you deal with companies over and over, and we like dealing with them, then you bid it, and all of a sudden they like dealing with you too because their prices are high. I'm not saying they'll be like that, but I just think when we're spending $100,000 of taxpayers' money and we have the ability to get another price, I think we should.
That's what this board is here for, to have these discussions.
You've got all the information if you want to reach out to someone. You've got pretty much a packet of what this bids on, so you could get another.
I actually have it right here.
Pretty easily.
Yeah.
I'm just asking you.
And I understand you want to get rolling on it, and I do, and I understand we just meet once a month, but I'd be certainly open to give you 10 days to get other quotes, and then we have a quick call meeting like we did before, if that's with the
We
chair.
wouldn't have a call meeting, it would be a special.
A special
You mean
meeting.
special,
Yeah, that's what I meant,
yeah.
At this point, we're still, he says that we're still 5 to 6 weeks out once we order.
Mhm. Yep.
So then, let's put the motion on the floor.
Well, the motion's already on the floor, and got 2 votes, so,
I did,
yes,
did I?
Because we're discussing it.
we're in the discussion.
Oh, I apologize, you're right.
Well,
So,
I do have a question.
Wilson,
What is the policies and procedures set in place for
Bids,
bids and quotes?
$100,000 it has to go to bid. So we do have a motion,
Now-
I'm sorry, go ahead, Carlin.
If you use Sourcewell or Georgia State contract bid pricing from a vendor, we don't have to put it for bid, because that price
It's
is
supposed to be
what
the
it's
best.
gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
Whoever.
keep in mind, that could be from another state, it could be
Right.
anywhere.
We've bought trucks through Sourcewell before, they came from California. But when they showed up, all we had to do was put stickers on them and they were ready to go. But, yeah, if you.
That's a platform from the state?
Sourcewell is kind of nationwide. Georgia State contract bidding.
Okay.
That's different vendors, if they're in that pool of vendors, and they give us that price, then we don't have to put out anything for a bid, because that price is all municipalities within the state.
Okay.
Okay.
Similar to Sourcewell is about the same way.
Mm-hmm. So then we do have a motion from Commissioner Wilson and a second by Commissioner Blakemore.
We've had discussion.
Do we, so is there any more discussion ready? Or anybody?
Not from me, no ma'am.
Okay.
How long would it take if you was to try to get it? Do you have any idea how long it would take to get another quote?
I just have to find, like I said, the other.
Well, we're set up to run with this system pretty much, though. I mean, I know we've used Estes for, like you said, over 20 years, and so we're set up for them. I'm good.
I think the saving on that is because they don't have to go, like we talked about the underground and all that.
Right, that's why they were able to cut off the price to start with, because it's all in place, and all that's still good.
Any further discussion?
No ma'am.
Well, all in favor, say aye.
You got 2 votes. Oh, the motion said, okay.
I'll make a motion that we table this. Rescind my motion, and let's table it.
All right, so Commissioner Wilson is rescinding his first motion to approve and making a motion to table till when?
See if you can get another bid in a week or 2, and if you can, get it to Ms. Teams, and we can have a special call meeting, and we'll get it moving. I know it's probably, like anything else, if you order it, it's 6-8 weeks probably, so.
And I'll second his motion to table.
Okay, Mr. Blakemore, thank you. So all in favor of tabling this motion for 2 weeks, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, motion will be tabled for 2 weeks pending further information from Mr. Carr. How about that? Thank you. Lisa, did you get all that? Thank you. All right. So we're getting to the end. I think we're on the last.
Right, the 4 rezones.
Yes. Now we're back to the 4 rezones. I think I saw Miss Carol leave. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. I saw you move and getting closer. Okay, gotcha. Okay, we're back to you now. So this is where the board discussed all the the variances requested. Okay. You really had, sorry. So Susan Carroll requests a variance for less than 5 acres in A1 agriculture zone for property located at 1967 Kemp Road, Lafayette, Georgia 30728. Tax map and parcel number 0-508-010. The Planning and Zoning Commission, in addition with our Director of Planning, approved this request, stating that it complies with the comprehensive plan because of future use as county suburban. Do I have a motion on the floor to approve it?
Yes, ma'am. Motion to approve based on the planning and zoning's recommendation.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Hart first, and Mr. Wilson second. Is there any discussion on this topic? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The variance is approved. Thank you for coming tonight. All right, the second one was Mr. Justin Keener, who requested a variance for less than 5 acres in an A1 agriculture zone for property located at 219 Furnace Creek Road, Lafayette, Georgia 30728. Tax map and parcel number 01589-006D. The Planning and Zoning Commission, in addition with our Director of Planning, denied this request, stating it does not follow the comprehensive plan because future use of this area is agriculture, forestry. So, as a side note, in my research, Mr. Keener would have to divide 5 acres instead of 1 to
Correct.
follow the comprehensive plan.
Correct.
So do I have a motion to approve this variance?
So the planning commission, their recommendation was to deny.
Their recommendation was to deny.
Let's have a discussion about it after we make the motion, so you can always,
I make a motion to deny the variance based on the recommendation of planning and zoning.
I'll second that.
okay, so Mr. Wilson made the motion to deny, and Mr. Hart seconded that motion. Is there any discussion about it? All in favor say aye. In favor of the denial, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The motion is not passed. It is denied by this board. Joseph Bales requests a variance for property located at 1178 Camp Road, Chickamauga, Georgia 30707. Tax map and parcel number 0-293-004. The Planning and Zoning Commission, in addition with our Director of Planning, denied this request, stating that it does not follow the comprehensive plan because future use for this area is agriculture, forestry. Do I have a motion on the floor of any kind?
Motion to deny as the planning and zoning recommended, yes.
Do I have a second motion to deny?
Second.
So I have denied, Mr. Hart made a motion to deny, and Mr. Wilson seconded that. Is there any discussion on the floor needed? All in favor of the denial, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, this motion is denied. I'm sorry, this variance is denied by motion. Thank you. Amber Doty requests a conditional use variance to divide off less than 5 acres in A1 agriculture zone for property located 368 McIntyre Road, Rock Spring, Georgia 30739. Tax map and parcel 0-356-002. The Planning and Zoning Commissioner, in addition with our Director of Planning, approved this request, stating that it complies with the comprehensive plan because future use is county suburban. So y'all might remember that I asked what conditional use was before and why we didn't do a rezone. So is there any motion on the floor for this one?
The planning, I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion to approve by Mr. Hart. Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Wilson. What, is there discussion?
That's the one that was located, there's a subdivision like that.
That's Timber Ridge.
Yeah,
McIntyre Road, yeah.
like 2 blocks from it, looked like. So,
Yeah. Okay. So is there any other discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? So the motion to approve this variance has passed. And the last one, Mr. Trevor Taylor requests a rezone from A1 agriculture to R2 residential for property located at 222 Allgood Road, Flintstone, Georgia 30725. tax map and parcel number 0-049-067A. The Planning and Zoning Commission, in addition with our Director of Planning, approved this request, stating it does comply with the comprehensive plan because future use is county suburban. Is there any motion on the floor about this one?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Blakemore, motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Askew. Is there any discussion on this item? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Then the motion is passed to approve the variance requested. Okay, so I have a very brief chairwoman report to give to everybody as we work our way to the end of our agenda. Thanks for everybody's patience. My work the last 30 days has proven significant improvements have been made in our government offices. I have restructured our main office to bring up-to-date titles and expanded the duties by delegating work to the appropriate employees. These pivotal positions are helping elevate our organization to bring faster and better service to our taxpayers. I'm taking a proactive approach, combining my human resources background and corporate experience to strengthen our workforce. The new job descriptions and salary structures are key steps in attracting and retaining top talent. I will be working with Mr. Delacruz to continue this process to show that I am committed to building a solid workforce that will provide superior service. The new titles reflect the added workload, authority, and importance of the role to ensure solid decision-making and to strengthen the leadership of our county government for years beyond my term. This shows my commitment to a long-term strategy, something that we have never had. We must remember that our prior chairperson did not attempt to build a strong workforce, nor were funds released on a routine basis to take care of our buildings, our bridges, and culverts, nor was safety a matter of concern for our employees or our communities. This is a new day, and myself, alongside this Board of Commissioners, intend on making changes that better our entire county. It will take some time, and I ask for your patience and your guidance while I continue to identify more priorities. Thank you for coming tonight and your attention to all these important matters of business that we've conducted tonight. And with that, I will turn it over to Commissioner comments. Mr. Blakemore.
Just appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you to all our hard-working employees and first responders. If I can help anybody, call, text, right now.
Mr. Askew?
All the participation is always welcome. You know, it helps us out. Like I said, we spent a lot of money, but it's money that needed to be spent to provide the services that the taxpayers deserve, that we pay for. And I think Chairwoman Teams made a good point that releasing funds and taking care of things in a timely manner is very important. If you don't, you get behind. And so you bear with us. We're catching up. I'm very proud of the first 30 days of our 2 new seats. Teams working together real well. We appreciate everything y'all do. So all of our employees, department heads, all you guys, thank you for what y'all do. Citizens, thank you, and keep coming back. Keep putting your input in, okay? Thank you.
Yeah, so I do like the idea of the CFO giving us a quarterly report. I think that helped all of us.
Okay.
I really like that a lot. I kept asking about the vehicles. You know, we added 7 vehicles to our fleet, so those vehicles are going to need gas and tires and batteries. So just as we spend this money, we got to realize that it's going to cost us some money too. So just as we get ready to build a budget for next year, to keep that in mind. Mr. Forrest is still here. Thanks for being here. He helped us this week with the voting office. Even though he wasn't at the meeting, he kind of got us in the right direction. Our new voting office down here next door. So
thank you for that. Yes.
Lined us up with a good architect to get that fire safety plan or life safety plan, life safety plan in place. So we met with Danielle and the chairwoman and the architect, and Stacy's going to be running that project. So we're excited about that.
Yes.
We did a lot of work on it last term, but we've got a lot more to do. So
we're going to get it done.
we are. Yeah. Thanks for your efforts on that. And then also, Angie and I met with the ag folks at the Ag Center last week to kind of get some guidance on how we want to invest the other remaining SPLOST dollars there. We got some good ideas, and we're going to meet back with them in about 6 weeks and and hopefully get that project finished up as well, because it's like the chairwoman said, we got SPLOST dollars to spend. Every day we don't spend it, it's less money we can spend because of inflation. So we want to get some good ideas and try to push forward that as well.
Mr. Wilson?
Thanks for everybody coming out. Thanks for all our first responders. I know someone brought up the Hinkle, and it's gets emailed to me daily. So we are discussing it, but we can't change it in 30 days. But Ms. Teams and I, we discussed it, and I've passed along the information I'm getting, and that is not being put on the back burner. It is being addressed, but it's going to take a little bit of time to make things roll and go. We are working on it though.
Yes, we are.
So.
Okay, does anybody need an executive session for any reason?
If you'll give me 10% of what I say, you know.
I knew that was like a politician. I knew there was a politician,
Oh,
I don't think there's
all right, no need. Okay, there's no need for executive session. Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting? Mr. Hart, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Askew. We are adjourned.